I don't know how to talk about Anthony Bourdain. On the one hand, I think he was a great person who did the best he could to make the world a better place. On the other hand, I never met the guy. He could have been someone completely different off camera. But he is someone who had a huge effect on me growing up, and I feel a duty to honor that. Like many late 90s, early 2000s kids, my parents had the news on 24/7. This gave me a very honest view of the world. It was no secret that it could be a rather cruel place just beyond my front door. This mindset made it rather hard to relate to the over-polished hosts that littered cable television. The Travel Channel, while not the worst offender, was certainly a culprit. From the first moment that Anthony graced our screen, it was obvious that he was cut from a different cloth.
Welcome to my world. 2 escargot, pâté, frisé, 2 green salads.
Okay, man, it's up here.
Lamb chop, steak frites. Shouldn't you be doing something? 2 smoked filet and a pepper steak.
Where many stars could be seen traipsing through a foreign land, steeped in self-importance, coated in plot armor, and guided by a team of producers, Anthony had a much more realistic approach. Instead of a quick polish applied by the studio executives, he had a rich patina that one could only get from years of experience. When you watched him, it seemed as though he had been doing this all his life. What I didn't know at the time was that this self-assured comfort did not come from years of globetrotting. Hollywood is full of stories of young people entering into the business and growing into their own over the course of a long and storied career. The less common, but far more interesting story is that of the late bloomer, someone who enters into the business long after the days of their youth, when many believed that all of their potential was harvested long ago, and only carrying with them a lifetime's worth of experience tucked under their arm. Anthony was 43 when he rocketed into the spotlight with his book, Kitchen Confidential: Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly. A recovering addict who had spent his life hopping from one greasy New York kitchen to another had written the book that only he could write, and for his sins, he would get everything he ever wanted. This is the man that we followed all over the world. From Tokyo to Mexico, St. Petersburg to St. Martin, Anthony injected his own unique style, making what would otherwise be a rather bland travel show into so much more. Even after the budget of his show ballooned to a level that only a global powerhouse like CNN could provide, Anthony never lost his humility. It was as much about watching Anthony grow as a person as it was about seeing where he went that week. Unfortunately, it is impossible to talk about Anthony Bourdain without talking about how he died. On June 8, 2018, he took his own life in a French hotel room while working on the 10th season of his show Parts Unknown. He had no drugs or alcohol in his system, and he had left no suicide note. I remember this day vividly. It felt as though a piece of me that I didn't know I had was suddenly missing. I felt like an imposter, because while I had experienced sudden loss before, it had never been for somebody that I didn't know. I believe the greatest tragedy of this story is that Anthony Bourdain went to his deathbed not truly understanding how much of a positive impact he had on the world. Since his death, I have found myself thinking of Anthony many times, watching his old shows, wishing he was still here, and wondering what he would be doing now. The director of the 2021 film Roadrunner, Morgan Neville, stated that he's come to think of the film as an act of therapy for the public. It was only after watching it that I realized how badly I needed that. Anthony Bourdain was a beautifully flawed individual that the world would have been worse without.